Diddy has been dropped by every brand he ever worked with, and the FBI has seized his private planes and mansions. Diddy is panicking after his revenue just dropped to zero. Not only that, but Diddy's lawyers just applied for bail for a fifth time. Can Diddy get out of jail before he goes broke? And is this the end of Diddy's career?
No, Diddy's in a tricky situation.
Boy, that's the understatement of the year.
Yeah, I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as
jail?
like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so. I don't think he gets locked up.
I think he skates.
I think he skates. Or he goes to like Bali.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a move, huh?
I want to declare right here over these digital airwaves of YouTube that the career of Sean P. Diddy Combs, as we know it, it's over. This is over. It's over in the worst possible way, one of the worst possible ways you can imagine.
Before this trial started, Diddy was the second richest person in hip-hop. He had a net worth of more than $1 billion, more than a dozen brands working under him, and was regularly meeting up with other billionaires like Jay-Z and Mark Cuban. The mayor of New York, Eric Adams, even gave Diddy the key to the city literally weeks before his trial.
It's 2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch.
He already has the keys to some pretty exclusive places, and now Sean Diddy Combs can add New York City to that list. It's Diddy Day in the city. Videos have been playing on the Jumbotron for TSX Broadway, and the crowd waited. Then around 11:30, the doors opened for the mayor and the artist.
The bad boy of entertainment is getting the key to the city from the bad boy of politics.
I want to thank y'all for this honor and just recognizing me being from New York, giving me the key to the city. Diddy finally has the key to the city.
Today's event coincides with the release of his new album, The Love Album, Off the Grid.
Diddy's empire is crumbling. All of his companies are bleeding money while brands have distanced themselves from Diddy. He even had to return the key to New York after his arrest. The same people who called Diddy their best friend are now stepping away to protect their image.
New tonight, Sean Diddy Combs returned his honorary key to the city at the request of Mayor Eric Adams. The Harlem native was awarded the key last September, but returned it on June 10th.
All right, so let's get right into it. Check this out. This guy Diddy, when you look at his net worth, 2022, he's a billionaire. Oh, we hear it, we see it all over the place. Today, net worth roughly $300 million, $400 million. His net worth, if you look at it, was a lot of spirits. 70% was spirits, $700 million. 50 million was private investments. Then you see 75 million cash, 100 million real estate and collectibles, 75 million catalog and intellectual property. Go to it right now. Only $150 million is spirits. He lost $550 million there. Cash is lower and a bunch of other things are lower there. So what happened during that time when you think about his net worth?
The truth is, Diddy never had any real friends. Mayor Eric Adams was arrested for corruption weeks after Diddy was arrested. And let's not forget that every relationship Diddy was in was a business relationship. Jay-Z didn't even speak out about his supposed best friend once during the entire trial.
This is how I really feel, right? Other than him just being a freak. I don't know how you get in that position and do all of this wild. It just leads me to believe you don't have no real friends around you. Well, because if you're worth $1 billion and you're the guy that has all of these different people employed, like literally you're the reason all of this stuff is happening. All of these people have jobs. You mean to tell me not one person says, bro, you got to stop around with all these drugs. Bro, you got to stop around with all this alcohol. Bro, you need to stop around with all these girls. Bro, stop it with the prostitutes. Why do you have guns in the house with the serial number scratched off? Like nobody, not one person comes around and says, what the f*** are you doing?
Big breaking news tonight. For the first time in the history of New York City, a sitting mayor has been indicted for crimes. ABC News reporting that Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We do not know yet the exact charges. Federal authorities have been investigating Adams and members of his staff, issuing subpoenas for documents and cell phones. Several members of administration have resigned, some of them also friends of Mayor Adams. Again, Eric Adams, the 110th mayor of New York, has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We'll have the latest online and tonight on Eyewitness News at 11.
Diddy thought his day would never come, and his powerful friends would protect him from the consequences of his actions. Back in 2007, Diddy struck a deal with liquor giant Diageo to promote Ciroc vodka. This deal made Diddy over $400 million, and it was the reason he became a billionaire in the first place. Allegedly, Diddy wanted to cut Diageo out of the deal and take over Ciroc, but that's when Diageo cut him off completely. Months later, Diddy is being sued. Was all of it just a coincidence?
I mean, for me, it kind of fit my brand. My brand, I was known as the king of celebration, the king of parties, and I wanted something that was luxurious and aspirational, and I saw an opportunity in ultra premium sector of vodka. I was naturally a vodka drinker, and I knew about Ciroc, and I knew that it at the time it wasn't, people weren't really connecting with it, with the messaging, and so I proposed to Diageo. Maybe we enter a partnership. Let's see how it goes. I told them these, astronomical numbers that I felt I could hit, and
you hit them.
I hit them. We take a lot of pride in the way that we have marketed and the success we've had, but we also take a lot of pride in the responsibility, awareness aspect that we've brought to the industry.
When you compare him to some other people net worth-wise with Jay-Z, Dre, Diddy, and Kanye, this is what it looks like. Blue is Dre, orange is Jay-Z, green is Diddy, and purple is Kanye. Look what happened here. So Jay-Z keeps climbing. In 2011, he was roughly $450. Today, he's $2.5 billion. Dre goes from where he was at $150 million at the time. He's worth roughly $980 million today. Diddy goes from $450, same place, to $1 billion, down to $300 million. And then Kanye goes from wherever he was. You look at the report today, you'll either see $300 million or $2.77 billion, depending on who's doing the audits. Forbes says $300 million. Okay, so let's go look at the Ciroc deal, what happened. So Diddy in 2007 does the Ciroc deal, which is a partnership with Diageo to revive Ciroc vodka, taking a 50-50 profit sharing role rather than the standard endorsement. As brand manager and CMO, he elevated the brand from 40,000 to over 2 million cases a year, making it a premium product. Now keep in mind, if you don't know who Diageo is, Diageo owns everybody. Johnny Walker, Crown Royal, Smirnoff, Kettle One, Don Julio, Casamigos, Captain Morgan, Bailey Irish Cream, Guinness. They own all these companies. So Ciroc, hey, this is big. We're bringing Diddy and he's going to take it from 40,000 to 2 million. Profitable, this is great. Let's make some money together. 2013, De Leon Tequila co-ownership. Diddy and Diageo jointly acquired De Leon Tequila, making it a deeper investment relationship. May of 2023, Diddy sues Diageo. Diddy filed a lawsuit accusing Diageo of neglecting the De Leon brand, racial discrimination, claiming they marketed it as an urban product and failed to treat him as a true business partner.
So far, Diddy has lost brand deals, had to sell his plane, put his mansion up for sale, and even give up his passport. Diddy's career in hip-hop is over. Diddy is running out of time and money. Insiders say the legal fees alone are draining his accounts, and with the FBI seizing his assets, Diddy doesn't even have control over his own bank accounts anymore. Keep in mind that Diddy used his personal mansion and plane during his crimes. His planes were involved in the transportation of trafficked minors. Those planes worth tens of millions of dollars are now in the custody of the FBI.
Fox Business Network's Taylor Riggs says Diddy's financial bleeding shows no sign of stopping.
All I know is that good attorneys charge a lot per hour. We know that they have a big case ahead of them. They also have a lot of those civil trials.
I had a big year this year. His $60 million private jet has already been sold. The snazzy plane, sports cars, mansions from LA to Miami and the Hamptons, $1 million in jewelry and over $20 million in top-of-the-line art, including works by Andy Warhol. That's just a short list of Diddy's physical wealth. But now, with his legal nightmare getting even more frightening, Diddy put his Beverly Hills mansion, that was raided in March, on the market for $61 million.
If people don't want to touch anything with your name on it, you have to look at other tangible assets that you can sell.
The 54-year-old's long legal fight ahead includes over 24 current cases alleging sexual racketeering, sex trafficking, Diddy has vehemently denied all the charges and accusations against him.
And a Justice Department forfeiture action that could cost him his empire. An empire that prosecutors allege was built, at least in part, through a pattern of criminal activity, including alleged sex trafficking, drug distribution, and violence, all used to advance what they call a racketeering enterprise. In the unsealed indictment, prosecutors outline how his business and personal assets allegedly played a role in carrying out or concealing the crimes. This means any assets connected to the behavior, even indirectly, could be seized, including real estate, companies, vehicles, and aircrafts. Now, his $60 million private jet has reportedly already been sold. The Beverly Hills estate is currently on the market for $61 million. And while Combs still owns his $48 million Miami mansion, a judge denied his request to use it as collateral for bond.
No one knows exactly how much of Diddy's fortune is going to be seized by the FBI, but one thing's for certain. Diddy is not going to have much left once they're done with him. Even now, Diddy has lost over $600 million and he hasn't even been sentenced yet. By the time Diddy gets back out, there's going to be nothing left. No brand wants to work with Diddy, and all of his celebrity friends have abandoned him.
In an effort to protect what's left of his assets, Combs hired Stefan Casella, former deputy chief of the Justice Department's asset forfeiture and money laundering section, to fight the forfeiture action. If the jury finds Combs guilty, it will be up to them to determine how much of Combs' assets are subject to forfeiture. Anything forfeited after a conviction could be used to support alleged victims. Sean Combs denies all allegations. And to help us break down what's at stake, I'm joined by Jim Trusty. He's the former chief of the Department of Justice, Organized Crime and Gang Section. Jim, thank you so much for coming on today.
Sure, good to be here.
So, Jim, let's start with the forfeiture. This isn't just about prison time anymore. Prosecutors want his empire. From what you've seen in the filings, how aggressive is this?
Well, it looks to be very aggressive, and there's a couple of reasons I say that. The first is it's very broadly worded. What they're talking about is essentially any property, real or personal, that could constitute either facilitating property or instrumentalities, they call it, or proceeds. And so that's kind of the whole business empire of P. Diddy being at risk. And that's the second part, which is it's a RICO case, a criminal enterprise case, where they've defined the organization, the criminal enterprise, as not just Sean Combs, but as all these business interests that he has, including liquor labels, music labels, everything else you can think of. So they've set it up in a way where when they get to a forfeiture phase, if there's a conviction, the sky's the limit, and it looks like they're going to try to take a piece out of him everywhere he's ever touched.
According to one insider, Diddy's legal fees are piling up too. Ex-federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani, founder of West Coast Trial Lawyers, said, "I expect Diddy to spend 8 figures or more than $10 million on defense fees when it's all said and done." Top-tier criminal defense attorneys in complex federal cases charge retainers of $1 million or more. Diddy has a small army of lawyers working on his case. That's expected when his net worth is reportedly $1 billion and his life is on the line.
And here's what people don't realize. Diddy's not just burning money on defense. His income sources are collapsing one by one, if not already collapsed. Ciroc's parent company, Diageo, dropped him quietly. No fanfare, no public fight, just a quiet, chilling severance. Revolt TV is bleeding viewers and advertisers amid backlash over Diddy's involvement. Staff are quitting. Execs are jumping ship. He already sold his stake in it, but now that's died. Sean John is a ghost brand, barely sold in department stores, relying on licensing deals that are now being reevaluated. That $400 million fortune is shrinking fast, and Diddy knows it.
Right now, Diddy doesn't know just how long his sentence is going to be, and he knows that the longer he stays inside, the more money he will lose. To try and clean up his image, Diddy just joined a rehab program. Diddy's lawyers are claiming that his mental health issues were the reason he was such a disgusting person. Diddy hurt a lot of people, and blaming everything on mental health is wrong.
Appease the judge so he can help either with the sentencing or the fact the judge may release him. Now, based on all that and the programming and stuff like that, even if he does the program and stuff like that, the prosecution is still gonna say, yo, listen to me. Okay, he did the program, he did that, but this is how much time and more time than somebody else who had the same kind of crime. This is how much time they did. Because if you notice, the judge asked the defense for a record court cases of people getting time for this. So you know what the defense gonna do? They're gonna come up the least amount of time that people got for this Mann Act charge. So now you got the prosecution. They're gonna put in the most time that somebody got who did this thing, who did this crime. So now the judge gonna look at the programming, look at the pre-sentence report, and decide what kind of time he gonna give them. But all that programming that he doing, all criminals, anybody who go to jail, if it's for drug dealers, they go to jail. Some of them don't even use drugs, but they take a drug class, they take the drug courses so it can look good on their record when they go in front of the probation and they go back in front of the judge. If they did a domestic violence, they take the domestic violence course. They take the domestic violence course so that when they go back in the judge, he said, okay, they took a domestic violence course. And 9 times out of 10, any course that they take, they're gonna refer them out for treatment once they get out of jail. So all those courses and all those cases and all those courses that he's taking is to get him out of jail and nothing more. I don't give a flying F about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a facade. It's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He had enough money way before he got to jail. If he wanted to do something to get himself right, to get off drugs, he could have got the best doctors. You understand? He could have gotten the best treatment facility. If he wanted to stop beating women, he could have got some psychological help. He could have bought the best that money could buy. So all this shit is just to get his sorry ass out to jail. And 9 times out of 10, it usually helps.
No one believes Diddy's PR stunt. The timing is just too convenient. Right after his 5th bail request is denied, Diddy suddenly wants to heal? Let's be real, this is damage control. Because if Diddy can convince the court that he's a changed man, maybe he'll get a lighter sentence. Maybe he'll avoid prison altogether.
Gene Deal, happy to have you back on the platform, man. October 3rd, man, we're gonna find out if Diddy do time or not. But I do want to ask you, how you feel about this program that he enrolled into?
Well, the programs that they put him in is because of he's getting close to release, or he may be released. So the Bureau of Prisons for the federal government has to give him a program based on his crime that he committed. You know what I'm saying? He did commit a crime. He is going to jail for committing a crime, but the time is going to be based on his pre-sentence report. So now, in the pre-sentence report that the probation officer, the federal probation officer do, they go by the history. If he had any criminal history, they go by the criminal history. They go by the history, the crime. They go by what the victim statements and all that. And they do this report that they submit to the judge. And submitting that report to the judge is gonna have what they believe based on the guidelines of the prison system, the guidelines of the correctional sets up based on what the time he'll do based on the crime. Now, the crime, and let's get this straight, the crime that he committed is based on the Mann Act. And that ranged anywhere from probably 22 to 54 months. Probably 22 to 54 months. And they're not gonna probably run that consecutive.
Diddy's lawyers just applied for bail for a 5th time and are now offering $50 million. In this bail request, Diddy's attorneys have offered a $50 million bond package, backed by his Miami mansion, passport surrender, restricted travel, no phone or internet access, and home detention under private security. Diddy is desperate to get out.
Now to the Sean Diddy Combs case. We may learn this week if he will be released on bond while he awaits sentencing. His lawyers filed a request asking the judge to release Combs on $50 million bond. Combs was convicted earlier this month on charges of transportation to engage in prostitution and he was acquitted of more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. The government is expected to respond by this Thursday. Combs' sentencing is scheduled for October.
Said no. These are all the things you did even after you knew that we were going to be sitting right here together. You want to stay where you at until we figure out the sentencing.
All right. Well, that is the latest
when you ask what Diddy should do if he comes home, he should do the work on himself. That's what he should be doing. He should be going to do some deep, intense therapy. He needs to find God. That's what he needs to be doing. He shouldn't be worried about no career. He shouldn't be worried about trying to get back professionally. He should be focusing on his personal life. That's what he should be doing.
Let's be real, if Diddy gets out, none of his victims are going to be safe. Cassie's lawyer has already submitted a public plea to the court asking them to deny Diddy's bail. She says she fears for her life. And honestly, who can blame her? Deontay Nash, Cassie's longtime friend who testified in the trial, has also submitted an application saying that Diddy is dangerous.
Cassie Ventura's friend Deontay Nash has sent a letter to the judge requesting that he deny Diddy's bail. You know, Deontay Nash is one of Cassie's friends, and he was also her former stylist who testified against Diddy in his criminal trial. He testified about multiple instances of violence that he endured and that he also saw Cassie Ventura go through. Now he has just submitted a letter to the judge asking that he deny Diddy's bail until Diddy is sentenced on the 2 charges of prosta. Deontay Nash said, "I am writing to express my grave concern over the prospect of Sean Combs being released from custody. While I appreciate the fairness that you have shown throughout this proceeding, I feel compelled to be unequivocal about the danger he possesses to the public and to the individuals who have risked everything by coming forward." Mr. Combs has a long, well-documented history of violent, coercive, and retaliatory behavior. Over the years, he has repeatedly escaped meaningful accountability, and each time, this has only reinforced his sense of impunity. If he is released now, I have no doubt that he will see it as yet another license to continue intimidating, threatening, and harming people who challenged or exposed him.
Freddie P has a warning for Cassie. He urged Cassie to leave the country before it's too late. According to Freddie, people close to Diddy are already plotting retaliation, and Cassie is at the top of their list. Freddie claimed that if Diddy can't get to her directly, he'll come after the people she loves, her family, her friends, her inner circle. Diddy has a long history of using money and intimidation to silence people, and Cassie's life is in real danger.
And now, Cassie, just go ahead and move out the country, baby. Pack a little white guy up, get on out of here. We'll protect your family. Because if you think Sean and he done beat it, and you got 30 out of him, at the least, me personally, at the least, I would get your boyfriend beat up every time somebody see him. Like, I wouldn't have to be there. So I'm telling you, if I would do that, I don't know, you know Sean better than me. Cassie.
So you believe that Diddy, he'll try to harm Cassie if he get out?
I think so. I'm not trying to, man, it's hard because I don't know what Sean's getting out. I don't know what Sean is getting out of prison. I don't know if Sean is reformed. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if Sean gonna get out more arrogant now that you just beat the Fed. You see his kids dancing around, they don't look grateful. They look like, yeah, we gonna keep winning. That's not the attitude I would be giving. When I beat my case, when I walked out on my case, I dropped to my fucking knees. I didn't want to be around nobody. I'm happy as shit. I'm not celebrating blowing up in the law face because I know I was just fucking crying, begging God. Nobody was in there with me. I was begging him. So how I look like to get out here and act like some macho hero, like I wasn't just being a little bitch on my knees for my father to save me when nobody else would. So I don't know what fee Diddy getting out. But me, personally, you took 30 million from me, I would advise you to get it. I would get out and tell you to leave the country.
There are some who believe that Diddy could still have a life outside prison. Diddy could lean into what has come out and use that for branding. But let's not get it twisted. Diddy can't redeem himself. Diddy ran a decades-long operation built on fear, control, and exploitation. You don't get to rebrand that. You don't get to slap a new label on the trauma you caused and call it personal growth. No one knows what's really going to happen when Diddy gets sentenced. Suge Knight says that Diddy is an FBI informant and the feds aren't going to send him away for too long. If this is true, then Diddy could get his planes back too. Diddy could walk out of court not just a free man, but one who gets his planes, his money, and his mansions back. Think about that for a second. The same man accused of trafficking, abuse, and decades of manipulation could be let off the hook just because he knows too much.
He's going to go to prison. And if he do, it'll be for something very, very small. It wouldn't be nothing what the people think. I don't think he's going to go nowhere long. And at the same time, you got to look at it. The best witness they had is KPD. KPD been informant for a very, very long time. And KPD is getting ready to go to trial for the murder of Tupac. KPD said it, everybody else know it, and KPD says the money came from Puffy, to keep Tupac and myself. So if they really wanted Puffy that bad, KPD would have put a deal with them, got on that stand, and broke it down. That would have been the RICO right there. That would have been murder for hire right there.
Is Diddy at a level of being untouchable where he's protected, or is Diddy a target that they'll eventually put all the blame on him and make sure they get away with it free?
I mean, he's definitely going to be the black motherfucker from the bag. Because you gotta realize one thing. That boy life is dangerous. His life isn't, and he's just not dangerous with the shit they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He know too much. One thing you gotta realize is he probably having a conversation right now with the higher ups and everybody else to figure out how it's gonna work itself out, because he know all the secrets. And if he get to running his mouth, it could be a bad look. I look at it like the most important thing is the industry need to be built over. You have all these executives because somebody was their father, their grandfather, or all these type of stuff, and they don't give people the opportunity to grow and learn. I know when I first started in this business, it wasn't a machine. I had to be the machine. I had to figure out how to get my songs on the radio, because at that time they was getting 5% and they got 10%. They was popping champagne bottles. I went from 95% of the songs you hear on the radio was my songs into 97%. So you had to really do all this thing and really do the work. And once the work...
The billion-dollar empire, the luxury lifestyle, the global influence gone. Diddy's friends have vanished, his brands have bailed, and the only thing left is a trail of broken lives and unanswered questions. The fifth bail request, the $50 million offer, the sudden rehab move, it's all part of the same script. A desperate man trying to rewrite his story before the final chapter is written. Want more deep dives like this? Subscribe and turn on notifications. And tell us in the comments, do you think Diddy will walk free, or is this the end of the road?